Welcome to the 10-Minute Book Guide. You know, we like to think there are systems in place to catch us when we fall. But what happens when those very systems are the ones pushing you right over the edge? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today with Jeff Hobbs' incredibly powerful book, Seeking Shelter.
The book throws this tough question right in our faces. When the system itself is the obstacle, is cheating it the only moral choice you have left to save your kids?
This is where we meet Evelyn. She's a mother of 5, and she is just tired. But it's so much more than that. She looks at her kids, and she can see exactly where their lives are headed, and it's a future she absolutely refuses to accept. She's not just tired, she's desperate to rewrite their entire story. And that desperation, it pushes her to make what you can only call a desperate bet, risking everything she has on the promise of a different future. Okay, so look at this. This is the choice, or really, the non-choice, that fuels this whole story. On one side, her hometown schools, C-rated. On the other side, Monterey Park schools, A-rated, some of the best in the state. For a mom like Evelyn, this isn't just about better grades. It's a lifeline. It's the difference between a dead end and a future.
And that's the thing. For Evelyn, a good school becomes this almost holy grail. It's the prize that will make everything else worth it. It's the one thing that can justify uprooting her entire family, leaving everything she knows behind, and basically stepping off a cliff into the complete unknown.
But of course, that kind of hope, it comes at a cost. And the reality of their new life hits them, and it hits them hard. This is where we start to see the true price of that desperate bet.
You know, it's the little things that show you just how fragile their situation is. She's just buying school shoes for her kids, a simple, normal act of being a mom, but for her, it is terrifying because every single dollar is now a choice between necessities. Life used to balance out, but now it's just unnerving. And here's something we have to get our heads around. Evelyn and her kids, they are not an isolated case, not by a long shot. This number, 55,048. That's how many people were counted as homeless in Los Angeles County back in 2017. They haven't just stumbled into a personal problem, they've walked right into a full-blown citywide catastrophe.
So, why is this happening? Well, it's not one single thing. It's more like a giant tangled web. You've got zoning laws that make affordable housing impossible to build, wages that just don't keep up, and social safety nets that are stretched so thin they're about to snap. It's a perfect storm.
And just when you think things can't get any worse, they do. Their already fragile world completely shatters. A conflict with their husband leaves them without a motel room. And just like that, their home becomes their SUV. That big dream of a better future shrinks down to one desperate nightly search for a safe place to park.
So, this is a turning point. Evelyn finds herself in a whole new kind of fight. It's not just a battle against poverty anymore. Now she's battling the very system that's supposed to help her.
Just imagine this. Their life becomes this absolutely soul-crushing routine. Every single night, wait on hold for hours with the 211 hotline, just praying for a motel voucher. If you get one, you pack up the kids and drive across a massive, dark city to a room you've never seen before. Then you wake up and do it all over again. It's a system that seems almost designed to break you.
But in the middle of all this unrelenting chaos, there is one place of stability for the kids, and that's school. It becomes their anchor, their sanctuary. It's the one place where things are predictable and where the world still makes a little bit of sense.
I mean, the contrast is just night and day. On one hand, you have the total uncertainty of life in a car. Where will we eat? Where will we sleep? And on the other, the structure of the school day. This is what Evelyn is fighting tooth and nail to hold on to. School is so much more than education here. It is, literally, a sanctuary. But here's the absolutely devastating twist. They have to keep it all a secret. They're warned again and again, don't you dare tell a teacher you're homeless, because the same system that provides this little island of stability could be the one to tear their family apart. The pressure is just unimaginable. And it's that pressure, that impossible situation, that forces Evelyn to create her own set of rules, a mother's law. And this, right here, is where we get to the absolute heart of the book's argument. So it all comes down to this, doesn't it? When the rules of society have completely failed you, who gets to write the new ones? Who do you answer to? The law that's letting your kids down, or the moral law that says you have to protect them at all costs? And this is Evelyn's answer. It's raw, it's profane, and it's utterly powerful. She says, how the heck else do our kids get a real shot? How do they get to be engineers or lawyers if we don't cheat? It's not just breaking a rule, it's an act of defiance, a rebellion fueled by the most powerful love there is.
And that, right there, is the central thesis of this book. This isn't really a story about a woman breaking residency laws. It's a much deeper story about a mother who is forced to create her own moral code, her own law, because the one society gave her had completely, fundamentally failed her children.
So after all this, where does this act of maternal rebellion leave the family? Well, the book is too honest for a simple, happy ending. What they find isn't victory, it's more like a fragile truce.
So let's look at the aftermath. After everything they've been through, they do eventually get a spot in a transitional housing program. They have a roof over their heads. But you can't just call it a happy ending. It's what comes after the war.
And this final thought from the book really sums it up perfectly. The idea isn't that they've beaten poverty forever. The point is that they've learned something crucial, that the bad times, when they come, because they always come, can be withstood. They've forged a new kind of resilience.
Which leaves us with one last really challenging question to chew on. Do we look at this family's incredible resilience and celebrate it as a sign of hope, a triumph for the human spirit, or do we see it as a symptom of a much deeper failure, a damning indictment of a system that forces people to be superhuman just to survive?
This is the 10-Minute Book Guide, your weekly shortcut to deciding what to read next.